Welcome to the Mid-Island Y JCC Eileen Porter Outdoor Nature Classroom. This classroom is an amazing spot here at the Mid-Island Y JCC. It's very unique to our program and generally speaking to programs in our area. We have an outdoor nature specialist who leads all of our programming here in this outdoor space. In our outdoor nature classroom, children explore life cycles curriculums, edible gardening. We've raised chickens in this classroom. We have a mud kitchen. It's really very hands-on and experiential, and children love it. You never know what you're going to experience here in our outdoor classroom.
We're sorting out fruit and vegetables. We can put vegetables on it.
Hi, my name is Beth Fellini, and I'm the nature specialist here at the Mid-Island Y JCC. As part of our curriculum, we do as much as we can to help children enjoy nature and appreciate what nature gives us. One of the things we do is plant our own edible garden. Back here in the greenhouse, every single student has put one seed into some dirt with the joy of watching it grow soon ahead. We already have some sprouts starting to come out of the dirt, and the kids are so excited to watch them grow and put them in the garden. You could garden at home as well, simply with some seeds and dirt, or even by using some vegetables that you may have already eaten that can actually regrow themselves. I have some celery and lettuce that after the leaves have been chopped off, just placing into water will re-sprout and grow you some new vegetables. These scallions or green onions have been in the dirt all winter long, and if I needed them to add on top of my tacos, I could just chop some off and it'll continue to regrow. So these are all simple things that you could do at home with your kids and that we're doing here at the Mid-Island Y JCC. Now we're going to go visit my friend Genya, and she'll teach us more about how you can do the same things at home that we're doing at the Mid-Island Y JCC.
Hi everyone, we're Mid-Island Y JCC, Plainview, Long Island, New York. We are family wellness. I'm here with my co-chair Debbie Deach and famous Joe LaPiana, who is an amazing farmer. He's been farming for 12 years. He has an awesome CSA that he could talk about, which is a community supported agriculture program. So we're going to learn how to grow and prepare our own garden so we could create a beautiful vegetable experience for our family and encourage our kids and ourselves to eat more vegetables. So take it away, Joe.
The first thing you need to do is decide what vegetables you want to grow. So everybody in each family has their favorite vegetables. Maybe make a list of what you'd like to grow. Once you have a list of what you want to grow, it will give you an idea on spacing, and we can talk about that in a few moments. But I think it's really important to chart out the area on your property outdoors. So however large or small it is, box it out, put stakes around it. What I've done here is I've demonstrated with the string are very simple stakes. You just need a tape measure and some string and some sticks just to kind of put down, measure and put down. So roughly these rows are 3 feet wide. Okay, so they're 12, 24, 36-inch grow rows. What we have over here that I'm standing in are walk rows. We all need walk rows to go to the left or to the right. And it's important to have that because without the right configuration, it's hard to work, it's confusing and everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show Deb how to come over here, and she's going to demonstrate just take a slice of no over here in the walk row and pretend you're just pulling out, no, not down deep, but may I demonstrate on this side and then you could try it. What you really want to do is just do slices, okay, like this. Try to get slices. And when you get a slice, that's why you're not doing a lot of work. Digging down's a lot of work. And what I want to do is try to make it easy on everyone. So maybe just kind of slice the walk row. You go in there and you slice it. That's it. Yeah, and you pour it right onto your grow row. So essentially what Deb's doing here is that she's showing us that the walk row is going to be beneath the grow row. So there'll be a little height differential, and also the soil that's good that's in your walk row will now be introduced into your grow row. Because technically you're not using the walk row, you're just stepping on it. So you don't really need that good soil, that top stuff that's on here. It's ending up in your grow row. Beautiful. That's good. I think everyone's got the idea about that.
Amazing.
So now you've got this beautiful walk row here, and you've developed this beautiful grow row. So the next thing you want to do is Gina's going to demonstrate, and maybe I'll give her a quick little demo before she does it, of what you want to do. You're essentially going to have lumps and everything. So you have your perimeter here, which is great, your guidelines. So you take your rake and you just, you groom it. Give it a little grooming like this, and you get it nice and flat and even, and you know not to go over here, you know to go here with it. So when the dirt begins to fall down, that's where you want it to go. You want a nice even row. You want to try to get as much dirt up to this point as you can.
It looks professional already. Okay. And just, do I go from the sides and
You
lift
can
it
go
up?
from the side, however you want to groom. There's no right or wrong way. It's just essentially stay in the box. As you can see, when the row gets to where it wants to go, you have a beautifully groomed row. Okay, and let's stop right here just to give you an idea. That's what it should look like. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do, I think that soft soil is very important for roots to go down. So I like to soften it up. So it's real simple. 1 foot down, up, and almost the whole row comes up. And you just want to loosen it and move it around. Boom. And it's a nice long handle. You could stay right in the walk row and just boom, like that. And do you see the cracks of air that are getting in? We're allowing. Now, what's really important is, unlike a rototill, which you may need the first time, the rototill is disruptive to the eco-life in this ground here. So we don't want to disrupt it. We want to work in harmony as much as we can with these. So I believe that loosening it once and then never doing it again with a rototill if you have to. Once you loosen it once, see, I've loosened this over years, so it's easy. I could literally do this with one hand. I could, you know what I'm saying, just walk down and just, like this. Because the soil's basically pretty loose. Once I do this, I then introduce compost to the mix, okay? This is the magic ingredient here, this stuff. This is the, shall we say, nutrient-driven igniter for the soil. And once this is introduced to the environment, now a lot of the soil is years and years and years of compost already in here. So you almost don't see a difference, but you will on your property when you start doing it, because yours will be brown and this will be black. Okay, and these are great colors. And you see things like that color.
So, Joe, I have a question.
Yes.
So your compost basically looks like soil, right?
Yes.
But to make compost, you're using like peels and old vegetables and just like old stuff that you're not going to be eating. So I know this is another topic in itself, but it looks like soil. Like, where is all the peels and the fruit?
It's a great question.
It doesn't look like my compost.
Okay. Compost is a magical event. Of everything I do, the thing that amazes me most is the compost. And the transformation from something going green and dark brown from leaves and even wood chips, which are hard, right? And then food breaks down pretty quick. But when you combine all those elements in a certain way, we call it a lasagna. I make a lasagna with it. So I'll put down the wood chips, I'll put down the grass clippings, I'll put down the leaves, then I put down all the food matter right on top of it so it kind of seeps down. Then the food, so all the rodents and raccoons and everything doesn't go after it. I cover it with wood chips again. So now you can't smell it and it looks great. The neighbors will never complain, okay, because you won't smell a thing.
Question.
Yes.
So when you say food items, you're referring to like eggshells and just old fruits and vegetables that you would normally throw into the
Absolutely.
garbage. Okay.
You'll never
Not meat.
throw...
Not meat.
Not meat, no.
Not meat,
no.
okay.
You never throw... Oh, you'll never throw food scraps ever away again, and if you do, you'll feel bad about it. And we can get into more composting later, but here's the simplicity of it all. These are Home Depot buckets. They're great, they're cheap, they come with tops. They all have tops on them. Everybody knows what the tops are.
Yes.
They snap right on. You buy half a dozen of these, right? And I typically will leave it right outside my door close to my kitchen. So we fill a bucket, a small big bowl actually, in the kitchen, and every night when we're done, I run out, drop it in, throw the bucket on, done. At the end of the week, that bucket's filled. I take the bucket, I put it in the corner of my yard, nobody can get in, nothing can happen with it, and I begin to accumulate the buckets. So now I have 6 buckets. I put them in my car, and I go down to the compost pile, and I dump them. End of story. Now, if it's in your backyard, every day or once a week on the weekends, you take all those buckets and you dump them into your compost pile. And then you basically groom the pile. So now any animals or whatnot can't smell it or see it or that kind of thing. Got to camouflage it. They're pretty, they stay away, believe it or not. And the only ones that get in there, they're not going to bother anybody. You got to share with nature sometimes a little, you know, with the critters that are out there. So this is the easiest and simplest and cleanest method
I love it.
of saving your scraps, and I think it saves the planet too, believe it or not.
Amazing. But where do you get the wood chips and like the grass and everything
Okay.
else that you're mixing together?
All right, wood chips for everybody out there, and everybody knows a landscaper, right? All these landscapers pay to dump their wood chips. They would gladly come to your house, put a tarp in your driveway, and drop a load for you.
Oh, wow.
That one load will last you 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So don't be careful how much you get. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you
amazing.
need a small load, but go to Home Depot, get a tarp, put it there, and maybe even cover it. You know, it doesn't really matter. I guess in the winter you want to cover it. And essentially you have an unlimited source of free wood chips.
That's amazing.
Yes. Now, grass clippings. A lot of people mow their lawn and keep the grass on there. I tend to use a bag. I do my own lawn, and I save my clippings. I put them in a bag, and I take the bag and I put it over to my compost pile, drop it in. If you have a landscaper, ask the landscaper, can you bag it and put it in my compost? I'm sure they'll go, no problem, right? Because a lot of people don't mulch, and they
Right.
like to cut it. So there's 2 techniques, mulching and then collecting.
Right.
So you want to collect it, because that green matter is vital, very, very important to have in the compost. So like I said, we're going to get more into compost, but you know, we can't ignore it because it's such an important element. It's like it's a difference between growing and not growing. I mean, that's how important.
I also love the fact that you use non-toxic pesticides. So
Correct.
that whole fallacy of needing those pesticides and herbicides to make your garden grow is the fallacy.
Correct, correct. So, what we want to do is we want to build a good immune system to these plants. And it starts with the soil, everything we're doing, the air, the good roots, and the good compost. That is the foundation, is a good immune system, so it can, when an insect comes to a plant, if the energy that plant puts off is going to communicate to that insect, get the hell away from me, because I'm stronger than you are, the insect will move somewhere to a weak plant. The stronger the plant, the more the insect won't go on. Now, some of those plants that need a little help, even the ones that are strong, sometimes the insects overcome. There are non-toxic, organic type OMRI, which are approved for ecological ways of production and being fully organic. Okay, no chemicals, no petroleums, no toxicity to it. I tend to take that, mix it with garlic, keep even the organic. I water it down, you know, and I use soap, Bronner's soap, excellent.
The best.
Bronner's, the pesticide, and if I have time, I juice garlic and throw some garlic in just as an extra zinger. And I have a backpack pump, and I just, not me, I do it, but the buddies that work with me, they'll run around and they'll spray. Now, I'm not going to kid you. There are problems with insects. You know what I'm saying? And you have to deal with it. One of the ways I'm going to deal with it this year is I'm going to use netting. Okay, it's a little bit more work, but I think the netting is going to be the new way I'm going to do things. We can get into that later too. So
amazing.
Without getting too deep into all these great things we could talk a long time about. We've got the walk row. We have the grow row. We introduced the nice compost to the row. Then what I'm going to suggest is once you introduce it in, you kind of just do another little light, you know, movement. Get that compost mixed in a little. So the idea is to integrate, you know, your existing with the new, and you want a decent amount. You want a couple of inches worth. People don't have access sometimes to compost, and you know, it's a 50-50 chance. People have a lot of trouble growing without having good compost to mix with it. So I'm going to suggest that maybe anyone in the JCC Health and Wellness Organization can contact me. I can advise, help, assist, and even at some point I might have enough compost to be able to supply people with.
I love that you mentioned that, because the JCC in Plainview, Mid-Island Y, does have a garden and does have a greenhouse, and we would be honored for you to be part of that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
We want to encourage agriculture in Suffolk and Nassau County because we're dying for it here.
Yeah.
I mean, literally dying for it.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
So we have to do all we can do to encourage and support that, because that's our only saving grace.
Absolutely.
You know, it's good, clean food.
Sustainable.
We can't rely on Stop and Shop, ladies and gentlemen, all the time.
I agree.
You
It's
know?
too limiting also.
So okay, so I'll make the next part as painless and easy as I can. Okay, so assuming that, well, actually, before I start, I was going to make grow holes to just give you an idea. I'm going to say we take a quick break. I'm going to go grab the irrigation, and I'm going to just give a quick crash course in drip irrigation.
Love it. Love it. Hi, welcome back. We're here with Joe and Deb, and we're going to be beginning the whole watering, hydration, irrigation process. Take it away, Jeff.
Okay, thank you. The process in the beginning could be very complicating and confusing, but after a while, I picked it up. It took a little while, but you know, it's not that difficult. It's not real complete rocket science. These are let's say, yeah, 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch pipe. You can get this at any plumbing supply store. Okay, so obviously this has to be hooked up to your spout where water comes out of. We could talk about that later, but what we want to do is just get into the basics of how to set something like this up and how it does function and work. So it's this 1/2 inch pipe. There's a little tool that punctures a hole in here. This is the spout that comes out that goes into the drip tape that simply snaps right in, 1, 2, 3. It's very, very easy. And your whole line is here, and the line goes right across all your rows, and you take these, snap it right in. It's a quick little snap. It doesn't get easier than that. And then this is what's called drip tape. And in this drip tape, on these blue lines here, are little holes. You might need glasses to see them if you're like me, but you can see the holes, and those are generally, actually they're slits. And you could see where the water comes out, and that's generally where you want to put your holes. And you can also measure, and there's a certain distance, I think it's like 6 inches, and that's where you could put your plants. But it doesn't have to be exact, because the water does sort of radiate once it comes down, and it expands into the soil very nicely. So it snaps in to your main pipe that comes here that's feeding your main line, snaps in, and then this here simply gets put right on like this. Boom. As simple as that. You twist it on, you turn it like that, and it's already in the pipe, and make sure it's on,
Wow.
and you go.
It's
You
easier
know?
than
So,
like, you would think.
I mean, obviously you want to put your row of drip tape down. That's it. And you create your rows. In here will be 3 rows, right? So this will be 3 rows. And what I generally do is I'll create my holes. Boom. My grow rows. Someone behind me will come in and put the plants, or if I'm alone, I'll have to do it myself.
That is a great idea. Oh my gosh, I used to do it with my hands. And just,
Yeah, so sometimes I eyeball it.
How many inches down do you go?
Maybe about 4,
Okay.
you know?
I always heard like garlic is 6 inches.
Yeah, there's certain things like potatoes go down deeper. Garlic, I actually never grew garlic. So, but garlic does start deep. It's a bulb. It's like potatoes are almost a bulb.
You mentioned that you put garlic in you sprinkle garlic around the soil. Do you
Garlic
mince
juice.
It? Oh,
Juice.
garlic juice. Okay.
Juice. I put that in the sprayer.
I see.
And
Okay.
And it has like it radiates kind of like plant the insects don't like it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So now you've got your irrigation, you got your beautiful rows, you got your walk row, you're leveled out, you got your compost, and you have your irrigation. Next thing you know is your plants that you want to start, okay? Everybody starts them. They can start them in the house, in trays. Every day you have to water them, okay? And then when they get to, big enough where you can kind of grab it and pull it out, probably sometime like the first week in May, second week in May, it starts to warm up a little bit. It's ready to go into the soil. And you basically just, pop them in, cover it, and you leave it. And that's it. You just go down the line, you do that with it. And then after that, it's a watering schedule. Make sure it gets water at least an hour a day.
An hour a day.
And weeding.
Is it different for seeds versus already like grown plants?
Yes. Seeding, direct sow it's called. So direct sow requires things like what I would recommend, like if you're going to do something like carrots. And I highly recommend compost with carrots because they like to germinate in compost, carrots. So it's real easy. Say over here you have radishes, and over here you want to do carrots. So I would suggest actually put another one of these lines up so everything's straight. I realize that when it's crooked and everything, it looks funky. When it's growing, you look professional when you're growing in straight lines.
I agree.
So you could put up a line and you follow the line, right? And you do like a kind of a straight line like this. It looks like it's maybe 2 inches, an inch, something, straight line. And then you mix. I'll give you a little trick. You mix the carrots with sand. Mix the seeds with sand. And then you just basically, with an index card and maybe a pen, you just kind of start to go down the line. And that's how you could direct sow things like carrots. I generally start all my plants as seedlings, and then I transplant them, most of them. Carrots, I direct sow.
What do you mean transplant?
Transplant, like for instance, in the greenhouse,
Yeah.
I'm growing celery in it. So when the celery's big, right? I go in with the shovel, grab a whole bunch of it, and start to break it apart and individually
I
plant.
got it. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
And how long does it take from the seedlings to grow and start harvesting?
it's a good question. Everything has various time frames. In general, let's talk about people starting seeds in their kitchen or in their room somewhere in their house in, I want to say, late February, get the seeds. March, last month start, but you could do it in April, just a little bit behind. And the seeds to germinate in the house are going to take 1 week to start to get something.
Right.
And then another week, and then another week. So after a month, by like mid-May, it might be ready to come out and put in here
Oh, wow.
into your garden.
That's pretty.
So it takes a while, and you gotta make sure it gets water, make sure it's warm in the house, make sure once it starts coming up, it's getting some sunlight, that kind of thing.
Do you need to make sure that the weather's going to be warm enough so there aren't going to be any freeze warnings at night or frost, which is usually
That's a
around
problem.
May?
And in May, that's a problem. There won't be any frost, but it will go below 50 at night in May. And I've had some problems with that. It's a gamble, Sometimes what you can do when it's small is get, like they sell these little grow frost covers, they're little blankets, and you could just put a blanket over it and it will keep it warm.
So I know a lot of people that are not gardeners, but they want to begin the process and start growing themselves with their families. They feel much more comfortable growing vegetables and herbs in pots.
Okay.
So I'm curious to know what your thoughts on that are.
Well, first of all, I would say get big pots. Okay. Second of all, I would say get really high quality composted soil. Get in touch with me if you're growing pots, because I can probably fill up those pots easy. Get in touch with me if you want. We can fill up your pots. And really, it's kind of the same concept, just level the pot, put, maybe start the seedlings in there, or start them, actually, if the pots are indoors, you could start them inside and then take the pots outside.
That's a good
It just
idea.
might be heavy to carry these pots, or
Right,
start the seedlings
right.
indoors and pot them if they're big pots.
I've learned the hard way because I have bought plastic pots, and I don't suggest that.
Right.
Because they heat up so much in the summer,
Yes.
and they call for more water, more irrigation.
Yeah, anything, the terracotta is the way to go.
The way to go.
You
I
know,
love this homemade irrigation system. This is pretty cool.
It's easy.
And
It's
doable.
easy taking in and out,
So where do you get this hose from?
Okay, you go online and there's a few places. If people can remember, Trickle Ease is a very reliable company. They're out of Pennsylvania.
Okay, we'll post that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Trickle Ease has a website, and they're good on the phone. I didn't know what I was doing a lot, and they, I said, "You're talking to a dummy. Please help me out." And they're really good like that.
Right,
I made
right.
sure that I've gotten better over the years with Trickle Ease, and I've gotten into a relationship and get to know them, and they're nice people. People in Pennsylvania are nice.
The Judge County.
Yeah. So.
Fantastic, Joe. This is amazing. We're going to be continuing on this gardening at the JCC in our very own JCC garden and greenhouse. And thank you so much. We're going to be doing another segment with you. You're fantastic. I learned a lot. I'm sure you
Fabulous.
did too. And
Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon. Family Wellness. Hi, Joe has generously invited us into his greenhouse, so we're getting really real here. We went from the first steps to this. Thank you, Joe. So please tell us, what do you have in your greenhouse?
Okay, I have a bunch of different lettuces, the radishes. We've got parsley growing over here, and we've got spinach in this back corner over here.
It's pretty amazing. I want to have a greenhouse now. I'm sure Debbie does too. I don't know if this is doable for everybody, but it is doable. And you mentioned that it gets like 120 degrees
Yes,
in here
yeah.
in February.
I found out through some good farming friends of mine that some of the discoloration that's going on isn't that bad, but it's called sunburn. And it, because of the heat and the sun that hits this thing, it just heats up so much in here. And without proper ventilation, you know, sometimes I'm busy at my day job, I don't come in time to open the windows and doors, it burns up in here.
It's amazing. I
Yeah.
love the idea that all year round you could just walk out of your house and pick a head of lettuce and make a salad.
Yeah.
We're all having our greens, as everyone should be having every day. Children and adults, get your vegetables in.
Good, right from Long Island soil.
Long Island. It's pretty remarkable, Joe. You
Good.
are the king of farming
Thank
here on
you.
Long Island. You really are.
I appreciate that.
Took it to another level.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Come back.
You bet.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Black gold, as they say. 1 year it takes to make this. This is compost. Greens, browns, food scraps, anything organic from nature, put in here, ground up, and this is the end result. I do get help. I do have helpers. And the helpers are, I'm going to show you who the helpers are. You'll see there's millions of them. Oh, there they are. Without them, I can't get this. They're so important to me that I spend a little money and I buy more. And I put them into my piles and they do their work for me. So this is the end result. And it's really, it's a nice product that you come up with. So I'll show you what it looks like.
I don't appreciate that.
If you come over here, I'll show you how this process works. Not only do I use my own, and I work with a organization called Community Solidarity that I volunteer and they give food out to the community. But I collect all their compost in Huntington at the food share in Huntington, and I'll come here and I'll dump it into the pile, and I'll create a layer. Now this is a brand new pile. I haven't done anything with it yet. Yeah, so it's brand new. So we're just starting to work with it. But essentially, what I'll do is, if we move over this way, we have wood chips over here that we create, like I said before, that lasagna effect, and we'll layer everything, okay? And then ultimately that layering effect with greens from landscapers that put in grass clippings. Over there, if you want to maybe zoom in on that pile, that kind of dark brown pile, that's composted 2-year-old horse manure. So what we'll do is we'll reintroduce that ultimately into the pile. When it's still breaking down, when it's earlier, that's old and broken down. It's still good, but before it's fully broken down, I'll mix it into the pile too. And over here, if you want to walk over here, I'm going to show you. This is my new, I'm starting to work with leaves now. Now this is from December. We just started this pile in December, and it's starting to break down already down below here. You can see. Look at
my
this.
gosh.
Look at that. Look at that. They're doing their work. I didn't introduce that. Where did that come from? I'm beginning to build and nurture and develop what I need to grow, and then ultimately help others.
Yeah, amazing.
You know? So we can go over, let's look at the garden now. So does this remind you of anything we talked about today?
Yes, the rowing, the stringing, the piles,
The walk rows.
the walk rows. It's
So
so
this
organized.
is the technique that I'm using now. See, they started to flatten out I have workers that come in here, and community workers come in here. People who do some community service. So they come in and they do some of this. So what I'm going to do is, the next thing is that we're going to bring that pile of black compost, we're going to drop it over here, and we're going to wheelbarrow it pile by pile into here. And then we're going to rake it in, then we're going to turn it. Can you imagine going from this to this?